Okay, let's dive into something that's a total game changer for anyone who's ever had to make a presentation. AI slide makers. These things are incredible. They promise to save us hours of work. But, and this is a big but, they also come with a hidden cost that we really need to talk about. Oh man, we've all been there, right? It's super late, that deadline is breathing down your neck, and you're just staring at that blindingly white empty slide. You're thinking, where do I even start? It's a feeling we all know. But what if you could just type in a prompt or even upload a research paper and get a full presentation back in just a few minutes? Well, that's the promise of AI, and it's here to kill that 2 a.m. panic for good. And this isn't just about making things a little faster. No, we're talking about a massive shift in how we actually create and share our ideas. For students, for educators, these AI tools aren't just some new gimmick. They're a whole new way of working, turning a simple outline into a full lecture or a dense research paper into a clear, concise report. Now, there are a ton of these AI presentation tools popping up. So instead of overwhelming you, we've put together a little toolkit of the best free options out there, specifically for educational needs. Whether you're doing some heavy-duty research, designing a group project, or just need something that plays nice with your school's software, we've got you covered. So let's open up this toolkit. Each one of these has a slightly different superpower. If your biggest headache is digging up research and making sure your citations are right, Skywork AI is going to be your best friend. But if you're more focused on making your presentation look amazing and professional, well, Canva is an absolute design powerhouse. For those of you who live and breathe Google, slidesai.io just plugs right into your world. And if you're trying to get a whole team on the same page for a project, Pitch is built from the ground up for exactly that kind of collaboration. Let's break that down a little more. You've kind of got two different camps here. On one side, you have a tool like Skywork AI. Its whole mission is credible content. It saves you tons of research time by pulling in information and citing it for you. Then on the other side, you've got Canva for Education, which is all about the visuals, the templates, the design. It's perfect for making sure your big idea doesn't just get heard, it gets seen. So the real question for you is this project about the data or is it about the design? Okay, what about your actual workflow? I mean, if you're already using Google Slides for everything, an add-on like slidesai.io is just so convenient. It slots right into how you already work. But you got to be careful. The free plan has limits on how many presentations you can make. Now, if you're working on a group project, a dedicated platform like Pitch might be a better bet. It's built for teamwork with things like comments and sharing analytics. Just keep in mind, its free plan also has some limits on team members and storage. So we've seen the options. But how in the world do you pick the right AI for what you need? With so many choices, it's easy to get a little lost. The goal here is to find a true co-pilot for your work, not an autopilot that just takes over and does everything for you. Luckily, there's a pretty simple checklist you can use to make the right call. Here it is, 4 easy steps. First, check your ecosystem. Just start with what you already use, Google or Microsoft. It'll make your life so much easier. Second, and this is a big one, demand good exports. If you can't get your slides out as a PowerPoint or Google Slides file to edit later, you're going to hit a wall. Trust me. Third, read the fine print. We're going to see just how important that is in a second. And finally, if this is for academic work, you have to prioritize tools that handle citations. That's not just a feature, it's about academic integrity. Running through this little list can save you a huge headache on a big project. All right, let's talk about that fine print, because free is a magic word, but it almost always comes with some strings attached. For instance, a tool like Gamma might slap a Made with Gamma watermark on your slides if you're on the free plan. Or you might run into weird limits on how many slides you can export, or how many times you can use the AI each month. It's always a good idea to check this stuff before you pour hours into a project. And here's a perfect example, 12 presentations a year. Now, that might sound like a lot, but think about it. If you're a student with 5 different classes, or a teacher prepping a new lesson every single week, you could blow through that limit before the first semester is even over. These caps are there to nudge you toward a paid plan, so it's really important to know what they are up front. So, we've covered the tools, the features, the practical costs, and yeah, the convenience is just undeniable. But we have to ask the question, is there a downside to handing off so much of our actual thinking to an algorithm? And that brings us to the real hidden cost of AI. This goes way beyond watermarks and credit limits. There's a growing pile of academic research looking at the impact these tools could have on the learning process itself, and it's pretty eye-opening. Just take a second and read the title of this recent paper from researchers at Corvinus University, Decreasing Knowledge and Over-Reliance. Whoa, that's not subtle, is it?
It's a serious warning that the very tools we're using to share knowledge might, if we're not careful, actually be chipping away at it. So, what do they mean by over-reliance? Well, you can think of it as the point where the AI stops being a helpful assistant and becomes more of a cognitive crutch. It's when you lean on it so much that it gets in the way of you developing your own skills, of you truly getting a deep understanding of whatever it is you're presenting on. And the risks here are pretty significant. We're talking about reduced critical thinking skills, weaker memory and recall of information, getting a more shallow, surface-level grasp of important topics. And maybe worst of all, actually finding it harder and harder to create anything without the AI holding your hand. You might get the presentation done in record time, but what did you actually learn?
So, where does that leave us? Should we just throw these powerful tools in the trash? No, absolutely not. The question isn't if we should use them, it's how we should use them. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that balance between using the automation and still doing the hard work of actual, real understanding.
The answer isn't to avoid this stuff, it's to be mindful. At the end of the day, these tools are neutral. Their impact, whether it's good or bad, depends entirely on how we decide to use them. They can either do our thinking for us, or they can help us think better. The choice is completely ours. So how do we do that? Simple. We treat the AI like a co-pilot, not an autopilot. Use it for brainstorming, for getting that first rough draft on the page, but never for the final product. Always fact-check what it gives you, and then add your own unique voice, your own analysis. And for teachers, a great tip is to require students to add their own teacher-approved sources to any AI-generated deck. It forces them to actually engage with the material. Ultimately, it all boils down to this one question. An AI can assemble facts, it can structure an argument, it can even design beautiful slides. It can build the deck, for sure. But the real work, the synthesis, the critical thinking, the deep learning, that's still on us. Only you can build true understanding.